Now in this session we are going to see the next unit, that is Introduction to Digital Signal Processing Architecture. In this session the topic is Architecture of Digital Signal Processing and TI-TMS 320C6S DSP processor architecture. We are going to see in this session DSP processor, what are its architecture. So let's start with that. So, one of the biggest bottlenecks in executing digital signal processing algorithms is transferring information to and from the memory. That means whenever we are using digital signal processor, the biggest problem or biggest issue or biggest challenge is how to transfer the information or data to the memory and how to access the data from the memory. So this includes data such as samples from the input signal and the filter coefficients as well as program instructions. The binary codes that go into the program sequence. So this all has to be maintained correctly in order to ensure that the data is transferred efficiently. For example, suppose we need to multiply two numbers that reside somewhere in the memory. To do this, we must fetch three binary values from memory, the numbers that are to be multiplied plus the program instruction deciding what to do. So these are the steps we need to do for executing some particular operation or to commit a particular operation using the digital signal processor. So, based on this, there are basically three architectures in digital signal processing. First one is referred to as the von Neumann architecture. Second one is Harvard architecture. And the third one is Super Harvard architecture. Also it can say as Modified Harvard architecture. So these are the basic three DSP architectures that we are going to see. We will see what are the differences among these three. Again I am repeating, there are basically three types of digital signal processors. First one is von Neumann architecture, second one is Harvard architecture, and the third one is Super Harvard architecture or Modified Harvard architecture. So here all of these three architectures are shown in this figure. The first one over here is von Neumann architecture. Here the basic difference between von Neumann architecture and Harvard or Modified architecture is that in von Neumann architecture it has single memory both for program and data. Whereas in Harvard architecture or Modified Harvard architecture, they use these separate memories, one for program memory and the second one is for data memory. So you have to remember the basic difference between von Neumann architecture and its further architecture of Harvard and Modified Harvard architecture. So as you can see in the figure A, that is in von Neumann architecture, it has a single memory and it is communicated with the CPU using address bus and data bus. Okay, so here in the memory, data and instruction sets are stored. To access this, CPU will use data bus and address bus. Next is Harvard architecture. It is also referred to as the dual memory structure. So as you can see the figure B, which is the Harvard architecture, there are two separate memories. First one for program memory and the second one is for data memory. So in program memory, instructions are only stored, whereas in data memory, only data are stored. Here in the center, CPU is there. The CPU block is in the center of program memory and data memory, which will have both separate data bus and address bus. Okay? As you can see from the figure, the data bus is of bidirectional, and that means you can see that the arrows for data bus are indicated bidirectional. That means the data bus is providing the bidirectional communication from CPU to program memory or program memory to CPU. So while drawing this architecture, you have to keep this thing in mind. Next is Super Harvard architecture or modified Harvard architecture. Here it is also called as dual memory architecture with input-output controller. As you can see in the figure C, the CPU is indicated with the instruction cycles or instruction codes. And both program memory and data memory are separated, where the data is to be accessed using data bus and address bus. Okay? Now, the first one, that is data bus for program memory, it is referred to as the PMA, that is called as program memory bus or program address bus. Okay? So program data bus is called as PMD and program address bus is referred to as the PMA. Same way, DMA stands for data memory address bus and DMD stands for data memory data bus. Okay? So these are the short forms. First one is program memory address bus, that is PMA. And the second one is program memory data bus, that is PMD. Here on the data memory side, it is referred to as the DMA, which stands for data memory address bus. DMD stands for data memory data bus. Okay? Same goes for modified Harvard architecture and Harvard architecture. But here in modified Harvard architecture as shown in the figure C, there is another block which is input-output controller to access the data. So the difference between Harvard architecture and modified Harvard architecture is that here instruction cache is also there. So instruction cache is there in the CPU and input-output controller block is added. So these are the differences between Harvard architecture and modified Harvard architecture. All these three architectures are shown over here. Now, let us see the next topic, that is TI-TMS 320C6S DSP architecture. There are various processors, DSP processors are available nowadays in the market. Among them, we are going to see TMS 320C6S processor. So the architecture of this processor is like this as shown in the figure. So here in this architecture, as you can see, the first one, that is the external memory is there, where synchronization and asynchronization block is there. Using the external memory, address bus and data bus goes into this, the internal bus structure. Here you can see the first one is program RAM or cache, and then behind that or besides that, the data RAM is there. Now program RAM and data RAM is accessed using the internal bus. The another blocks on this are DMA, serial port, host port, bootloader, timers and port drivers are there. Okay? So here, these are connected to the buses for the CPU. Here the diagram is shown for the CPU and external memory. Here in the CPU, there are registers, two parallel registers starting from A0 to A50 and B0 to B50. That means here you can see there are two parallel 16-bit registers are there. Then D1, M1, L1, S1 and D2, M2, L2 and S2 are there. And below that the control registers are there. Here at the center of the CPU, two parallel buses are there or two parallel registers are there, starting from A0 to A50 and B0 to B50. Here the registers D1, M1, L1, S1, D2, M2, L2, S2, what it stands for, what it stores, that we are going to see. And below that there is a control registers. Okay. So here the two parallel data paths with single cycle limits are the first one, which is D1 and D2, which stands for data unit. It is of 32 bits address calculations, that is modulo 2 or linear operations. Next, that is M1 and M2, which we have seen. It stands for multiplier unit, which is of 16 cross 16 bits with 32 bit result. Next is L1 and L2, which stands for logical unit. It is of 40 bit arithmetic and it compares the results, that is for almost logical operations. Next is S1 and S2, which stands for shifter unit. It is of 32 bit integer ALU and 40 bit shifter. So these registers are used for data, multiplier, logical operations and shifting operations. Okay. I hope that this processor architecture shown over here is clear to you now. This is the simplified architecture of TI-TMS 320C6X DSP architecture. Try to remember the blocks in this architecture. What are the rows of registers over here? Serial port, host port, data RAM, program RAM and external memory also. Okay. These are the references that will be useful to you. Thank you. Thank you for listening.